So welcome to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. You are okay. Yeah, we are a few minutes later than usual. We are starting about 3 minutes later than we usually start. I think I need to work on my technology for the next couple of days. Somehow, yeah, it's happening. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. My name is Grace Nzula. I'm an HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. You are tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions, which is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. With me is my co-host, Kevin Adipo, and of course, our sign language interpreter, Madam Catherine Sidandi. Kevin Adipo, you can introduce yourself.
Good evening, good morning. As you've heard, my name is Kevin Adipo, and on every Tuesday, we are here to just help all of us learn and get to understand matters business and matters human resource. Back to you, Grace.
Right. So yes, we seek to demystify issues that affect everyone in employment and entrepreneurship. And today we are dealing with a very exciting topic on money. I was telling, I got some interesting comments when I shared this flyer, and I will tell you all about it. But before we get there, allow us to recognize the people who support us and help us be inclusive in this webinar series. We have, Kevin, if you could share that slide to recognize our partners. So we have a Stallion Construction Company Limited. Stallion Construction Company Limited deal in construction like the name spells it. They are in the construction if you're looking to renovate your house, if you're looking to build your house from scratch, if you're looking to subdivide your office, if you're looking to just do anything, change curtains, do interiors, then Stallion Construction Company are your people. We have Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solution Services are a HR consulting and training company. They have trainings on their LMS. LMS is Learning Management System. They actually launched their new website the other day. Congratulations on that, Frank. And they're able to support you with your trainings. And even today, they have an offer which Kevin will let us know about in a few minutes. But yes, Pathway Service Solutions are actually supporting us in making sure that we are continuing with our mission to change the world through information. And therefore, they have been offering our people trainings on their LMS, that is a learning management system. And then we have HRMPEB. HRMPEB is Human Resource Management Professional Examination Board. HRMPEB, if you wish to do your CHRP, if you become CHRP, Certified Human Resource Professional, if you wish to become one of those, then you need to register with HRMPEB. If you're wondering how to get your exemptions, if you're wondering how to register, please get in touch with me and I will be able to guide you accordingly. We have Panessa Training Institute. Panessa Training Institute is a carpentry and woodworking school. If you have an interest with working with your hands, or you know somebody who would benefit from learning woodworking or carpentry, then you need to send them to Panessa Training Institute. The August intake is on. It's ongoing right now. There is an intake starting in August. So make sure that you take you grab the opportunity and make sure that you register for that. Then we have WeClean. WeClean is a cleaning company. They have a machine that cleans carpet within 6 minutes. So they also do 24 hours. They deliver your carpet within 24 hours. And they pick up and drop off if you're in Nairobi. So do not stay in the house with a dirty carpet in this cold and wondering, my God, shall we stay like this until end of July, or what are we going to do? They just do pick up in the morning. They'll come, they remove the carpet for you. They will then come back and lay it down for you. They also clean sofas. If you don't stay with a dirty sofa in your house, they'll come and clean it for you at the comfort of your house. And they also do cleaning services for offices and for homes. So if you want to know more about WeClean, you can always get in touch with me, or you can check out their social media pages, Instagram. They have quite a lot of information there. We have Suluhu Mediation Center. Suluhu Mediation Center is a college that offers a certified professional mediation course. They have classes online, they have classes physical, they have Saturday classes, and then they also have classes on their LMS, that is Learning Management System. I am a certified professional mediator, and I did my mediation with Suluhu Mediation Center. That was last year, December. It was an amazing class. I really, really enjoyed that session. Then we have Profiles International. Profiles International are the people. They are engaged in helping you discover who you are. So they have all things. DISC is a personality test that helps you, explain to you how you work, explains to you your personality, explains to you about other people and how you show up in the workplaces and how to work with other personalities as well. They are also the Genos certified emotional intelligence providers. So if you wish to become a Genos certified emotional intelligence practitioner, you need to register with Profiles International. We have Kapula Mintito. Kapula Mintito offers coastal snacks. If you're looking for Mabuyu, the best ever, then Kapula Mintito offer that. And of course, they offer cashew nuts. They have everything, all snacks from Coastal. Then we have Elsamere. Elsamere is a hotel in Naivasha. My God, this hotel is beautiful. Kwanzaa, the ambience. It is right outside the lake. They have really taken care. Their tea is awesome. Their cakes, their food, oh my God. And they are also quite affordable. So if you're in Naivasha and wondering, you have 3 hours or 2 hours and you don't know what to do with it, or you just make a trip, you can go for a day trip and just enjoy the being alone, or you can take a vacation, solocation, whatever vacation you want to do. And if you're in Naivasha for a training and you're wondering, okay, you finish the training at 1 o'clock, then you can always check in. They have a museum. They can take you around the museum. Can enjoy a cup of tea, you can enjoy the ambience, and they're awesome. Then, of course, we have Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited. This is a PR and HR consulting company located in Kampala. We appreciate you, Herbert Zaket. Thank you. You are part of us, and we really, really are grateful. Thank you for always making sure that we are changing the world through information. If you need anything in Kampala, please get in touch with Steadfast Quality Solutions. And of course, the best part of my day, Kevin, is the trip to Sagana. That is one of the exciting things that we are doing in July. We have a road trip coming up in Sagana on July 8th. That is next Saturday. What are you? The other one. We will be at Nokras in Sagana. We have Madam Kuresha Abdullahi, who will be there as a speaker. We have Simon Mbae. If you know Transform Nations, he has written the book called Daddy Destiny. He has done a lot on gender, so he'll be speaking on gender. We have CHRP Roy Sasaka, who is the CEO of National Government Affirmative Funds. He'll be there as a speaker. Of course, you have myself. We have Dorothy Chepkoech. Dorothy will be there speaking about risk. She is a governance and risk expert. We also have Dr. Oscar Olima, who is the county secretary and head of public service in Migori County. And then we have Newton Siele, who is a CEO of a pharmaceutical company. And of course, our sign language interpreter, Catherine Sidandi. And obviously, Kevin is going to be there. Jacinta will be there. A lot of people, Bahati will be there. This is exciting. Please do not be left behind. I saw you, Jacinta Kisungi, you're also coming. Make sure that you register today. Jacinta has already put the link for registrations online. And yes, we will make sure that we are going to be very, very inclusive. Right, so allow us to jump onto the business of the day. Today, we are talking about money. And money is being brought to us by Kennon Mbae of Mwalimu Biashara. Kennon is awesome with money. Let me just say that. And Kevin, if you can stop sharing. Kennon is the money man. Kennon understands money. Kennon, where are you? I'm looking for your face. And I do not seem to find you on camera. We can only see Mwalimu Biashara.
I am right here.
Excellent. Excellent. It's good to see you. It's good to have you on board. And did I recognize our sign language interpreter, Catherine Sidandi? Thank you for making us inclusive. Of course, we always appreciate you and the work you're doing. Yes, so Kennon, when I shared the flyer, somebody was like, I mean, Grace. So you want to mean that money can be working for me as I sleep? And I said, of course, why not? I mean, why not? Yeah.
I
And then
think the bar is set already, isn't it?
I know, right? And then somebody said, nowadays money has become magic. You see it, you don't see it. It is here, it is not there. So tell us, how does money work for you?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
You give me grace.
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, thank you, Grace. I think you said I should go ahead now. So ladies and gentlemen, it is great to be on board today. Partnership with Atala Solutions. I met Grace some time back and I said, Grace, I have to come to your show. I think she's super at what she does. It's a wonderful platform. But for me, most important is the time that I have, the opportunity I have to just put across in a very short time, this idea about money already. Can it work for you? The answer is yes, it can actually work for you. I'll be showing you that today, how that one goes. And the other question is, it's here now, it's gone. I agree with you. Those other sentiments, especially, I know we have people from different countries, but Kenya, I think we are at the brink of making that decision. Inflation, taxes, there's a lot happening around the space, and it makes I understand when someone asks themselves, "Guy, can I even have money wait for me a minute?" So yes, I've taken those two issues there, and as I go on to my discussion, let me share my screen here. I will be oscillating between two screens. And most importantly, I will be asking us to have a conversation. Grace has graciously talked about me being a finance expert, which I'll agree. Okay, I will agree for sure. But I will also say that when you walked into this webinar, you know stuff about money. So I want us to make it a discussion. I'll take slightly over 20 minutes. I'll be done with my presentation so that we have enough time for Q&A. Let us start with this one. If you got $1 million shillings today, pesa taslimu $1 million shillings, or if you convert that into dollars, $10,000, what would you do with that money? Assuming it is a gift, it is not something you're going to account for, you are not going to return to anybody. Let's start this conversation. $1 million shillings, if it came to your desk today, what would you do with it? I'll take the first 10 answers on the chat would be good enough for us to get the conversation going. What would you do with $1 million shillings or $10,000 for those of us who are not from Kenya? I want to see a few answers. What would you do with this kind of money? And Joey Mudanje would buy shares. Excellent. Claire will go to unit trust, put some of it in unit trust. Gloria will buy a plot of land and invest in T-bonds. Anne Bahati, buy something that I will see. I like that. Something that I want to keep seeing it. That's from Anne Bahati. Pauline Suma would buy land. Those are two people buying land. Gloria is buying a plot. Pauline is buying land. Dorcas Njeri would go to government bonds. This is quite interesting. I can say already these answers are telling we are very attuned to investments. I like that a lot. Flavia, I would say I would save half of it and start a business. Angaria would do shares. Mary Kibandi would build a house. Titus Gitongo will do shares. Lisa Molo, pension investment. This is wonderful. And they are just flowing in. Someone would buy a truck. Faida Jone, Christopher Karani, Rudishia Muli Shukrani. I like that. And I'll be talking about that Shukrani, Jacinta, TVs and plots, commercial properties, and they keep coming. Someone would donate, Harvard Zake would donate, farming, buy a Propox, Daniel Otuoma. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm overwhelmed by these answers. I like what I'm seeing. Boost my piggery. Someone is really having a piggery. I would boost it, revamp my house. Nitanegua viungo. Daniel Kevenji nitanegua viungo. Paul Mushai would go to school. All right. There are so many answers, as there are many people, ladies and gentlemen. In case I didn't recognize your answer, just know that I take it seriously, but it makes the point. In the next few moments, please keep that in mind. That is the frame of mind we need to have. We are talking about you. We are talking about your money, and it is personal to you. You may not understand someone who wants to boost their piggery. That is okay. There's someone who wants to rudishia mwili asante, and that's the spirit here today. We are talking about ourselves. Let me introduce myself. I am a co-founder of a company called Morning Biashara. I think Grace has already mentioned that, but it's important to say that I'm an accountant. I did my Bachelor of Commerce Accounting in Kenyatta University, hapa Nairobi. I crunched the numbers, then later on did my MBA at Strathmore Business School. I did my ACCA, which is an accounting qualification, and then I also did a Certified Information Systems Auditor. And this will come into play as I talk about the course today. I've worked for over 20 years, different industries out there, financial services, hospitality, I've done quite a bit. Right now, I'm interested in financial coaching, which is what I'm doing, mentoring businesses, and also enjoy music and sports. I am married with 2 daughters. I always start my presentation here to say, this is not a bragging slide. It is a slide to help you know and be at ease that we've actually prepared ourselves. And Grace, when you say, I understand money, I will take that with humility, but I'll actually take it to tell you guys that we've done our best to prepare this for you. But let us see what we have today for us. In this webinar, and I know it's being also streamed live on Facebook, we are different people. It's difficult to tell what stage of life we are in. But as I go through this presentation, I'll be trying to talk to a teenager or a young adult who is in this webinar. How do you think about money? How do you see it? There's a young professional, someone who's just started off their work and they've been employed maybe 2 years and they're taking off with their career. We have mature professionals in the space, people who are already set in their careers, buying houses and taking children to school. I'll be talking to you as well. And in the same way, we probably might have also older people, seniors, people who've retired and wondering, so how do I consolidate all that I've done? So I will make every effort and recognize that all of us, when we talk about money working for you, we are at different stages. But the principles I'm going to share with us today, they apply across the board. You could change them depending on the stage of life you're in, I don't deny, but largely there are some fundamental things that we need to get hold of, and this is what I want to talk about. The first one, wherever you are, wherever you are, it's important to understand your current financial position. Now, this means, where are you at? We say that it doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is what you keep. I cannot say that more clearly, but the first important point towards having money work for you, even as you sleep, is understanding where you are today. I'll be sharing with you, I'll be doing my presentation using some tools that our company has developed just to help us nail this about your current financial position. Then your relationship with money. Now, this is interesting. I heard Grace say that someone is saying money is like magic. It's here now, then it's gone. But it also depends on how you perceive money. What do you believe about money? Okay, what patterns have built up over time? You've heard people say money does not grow on trees. That statement can affect us in 2 ways. It can come and empower you and you're not lazy. You actually want to work. You actually want to put effort. That's positive. But the same statement can make you start doubting yourself, especially when it's said by a person of authority. So someone says, oh, you start self-doubting yourself. When you're talking about managing your money, your mindset is so important. And most times people forget that, but I can tell you it accounts. In fact, we say personal financial management is 20% knowledge, 80% behavior. It is not that we don't know what to do. We have the head knowledge, but how is it we don't actually do what we want to do? And that's important when you're looking at your relationship with money. I'm just touching on these things, but I'll be taking you through them in more detail in a short while. It's important to be able then to focus your plans. I have many clients. One of them walked up and said, okay, for those in Kenya, they said they want to settle in a place called Runda. We all know that's an upmarket place. It's expensive, it's exclusive, it's all it is. But when we talked to that client and went through his figures, How much is he keeping? How much is he making? What is the cost of that place in Runda? He turned and said, I definitely have to change something. If I have to live in Runda, then I have to change something. When you talk about making money work for you, is the ability to see where you're headed. If you have children, blessed with children, and they're going to be going to university in the next 4 years, what does that mean to you today? I'll be showing you that in a short while. There's an animal in the room called debt. And now it has even taken very many shapes and sizes. There is nothing wrong with debt, ladies and gentlemen. What's important about debt is to understand how much it's costing you. I have a slide to show you to understand what does it cost. What should you do differently? What can you do to beat debt? What is this thing called top up? What does it mean? Now come to mobile debt. The kind of interest you're paying, we've seen it's only in the media, but I'll be showing you how to deal with debt. And the last part in this first section is savings. But let me show you something about savings. Savings is a culture. Savings is something that you become. I'll give an example. Let's go to the chat section. Please write for me, how much do you roughly spend on lunch? Just the first 10 answers. There's a point I want to make. And I'm not talking about the lunch, the one that's bought by the company. No. How much do you spend on lunch? 300 shillings. Thank you very much. I see from Faith. The first 10 questions, the first 10 answers will give me what I'm looking for. There's a point I want to drive. And Bahati,
200 shillings, Bahati.
Sorry? Okay.
No. Yes. 300 shillings, 150 shillings, 4,000 shillings, 250 shillings, 120. Liza Molo, 250. Richard Magoma, 200.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that support. I do appreciate that. And thanks, guys, for contributing. Let us use an average, because I've seen 4,000 there. I've seen 1,000 shillings. And I'm not sure whether it's Kenya shillings or another currency. But let's use 300 shillings. I want to mention something about savings here. If you take the equivalent of your lunch money, and we're not telling you not to eat your lunch, but if you're able to save an equivalent of your lunch money, it means 300 for a month is 9,000 shillings. That is 300 times 30. That is 9,000. If you're able to do that for a year, for 12 months, 12 times 9 is 108,000. We say this. With 108,000 for those in Kenya, and even in Uganda, if you convert that into Uganda shillings or other countries, it is possible for you to actually take a holiday. Because with 108,000, you jump in on SGR, even if, let's say, you have a family of 5, all of you are going to pay, what, 1,500 one way, 1,500 the other, that's 3,000. So 5 people, that's 15,000. Done. Take the cost of Uber and everything, maybe another 5,000. Take an Airbnb in Mombasa for 3 days. At 20,000 shillings, that's 60. You've spent around 80,000 that far. So for the cost of a meal, you're able to take a holiday every year. That is the power of savings. It is consistency. It is you becoming a saver. It is you realizing that you can do it differently. And savings work when you have a goal. There's something you're seeing, but I'm going to show you that in a short while. Let me pause here and probably introduce you to something called the treasure chest. Now, the reason I'm going here is something about making your money work for you. Is we not only tell you what, we show you how. For us to show you how, I'm quickly going to dash to this program here. Quickly, let's say it is me managing my money. I've seen even Anne has re-emphasized something I've said about it is not how much you make, it is how much you keep. But to get clarity of how much you're actually operating, let's say, for example, I'll take your inflows, you're earning what, 80,000 shillings. And you're getting that every month as an example. You're probably an employee, you're getting a benefit. Of course, you've listed all the benefits available from an employer perspective, but let's say you're getting 3,000 shillings as a telephone benefit. Of course, you can list whatever is there for you. If you want to do this as a family, you can put your spouse's income in the same way, you can put the benefits in the same way. Assuming you're in business and you have a business that's giving you 500 shillings, say, every day. But for this one, you don't want to compute POIE. So you exempt POIE because the tax here in this system is POIE. Probably another business that gives you 25,000 shillings every month. And again, that is not taxable. We talked, it's not taxable on as POIE, just to get it right. Then you have investments. Maybe you have rentals, which give you 60,000 shillings every quarter. Of course, even that you want to prepare taxes separately. Now, when you add your inflows, why we are saying it is important for you to know how much you keep. Already you have 123,000 shillings to spend. You might wonder why, because the taxes have already been computed. But let's see, how do you use this money? Let's say, for example, you pay rent. Okay, if you add some outflows here, you pay rent of what? 30,000 shillings, which you pay every month. And of course, you can put in all the other things, electricity, water, garbage, all things that you do. Maybe there's a house help who comes and you pay them 700 shillings every week. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm stressing here and stopping is managing your money is simple, but very, very important things. I talked about you understanding where you stand at. If it is giving, how do you manage your giving? Maybe you send up country, what, 5,000 shillings every month. Now, the reason you're doing this is you're not going to spend more than that. If it's about michango or social obligations, maybe you say 6,000 shillings every quarter. This is showing you the how, not only the what. Of course, you put in your savings. Maybe you have 5,000 shillings you're putting in a circle, which you put every month. Then you put in all the other savings plans that you have. You invest in yourself. We always say take a personal allowance, maybe 4,000 shillings. Why this is important is that you are going to sherehe. I saw someone said kurudishia mwili asante. I saw that in the chat. You want to thank your body. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but it needs to be budgeted for. You can put 4,000, you can put 40,000, whatever you want to put, but make sure it is quantified. And then, of course, all the other ways you spend on yourself, your investments, they are all there. What you spend your money on. Maybe you're saying you want to put 50,000 shillings every quarter in a money market fund. I'm just giving you basic examples because there's a point I want to drive. Your dependents, maybe you're paying school fees of, say, 45,000 shillings, which you pay maybe every quarter. As an example, then you can list in all the other expenses of dependents. Mobility, you have a vehicle which you pay 4,000 shillings fuel every week, and your service and insurance, you can all put it there. But if I add outflows, a very important point around living within your means is already you have 25,000 to go. Let's assume you have a loan. There's a loan you're paying here, which you took from a commercial bank. Maybe at one point, pick any. Maybe you got it from ABSA. It was 1 million shillings, and the rate was, say, 15%. You're supposed to pay that in 60 months, and you took that 2 years ago. As an example, there's something I want to show you here. You are accounting for your money so that when we say you understand your current financial position and you look at a snapshot of your finances, then you can tell where you are. If this webinar was to stop here, and this is the only thing I told us today, it is worth every time you spend here because it helps you nail your current financial position. When we talk about savings, when we talk about investments, when we talk about planning for the future, when we talk about whatever we say, it starts here, that you already know you're living within your means. And of course, you can get to see the breakdown here, and you can make your adjustments. 11% is going to taxes and 3.5 is going to your parents and siblings. and so on and so forth. What point am I making here? Is when we talk about this part of money working for you, you need to start at a level where you know where you are exactly. Let me talk about spending habits, because I just said personal financial management is 20%, knowledge 80% behavior. I have a phone on my screen. It's an Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max. Again, on the chat section, how much does this phone, what's the price? If I wanted to buy this phone today, how much would I need to pay? Let's see a few answers in the chat. It could be right or wrong. Maybe we can have a few answers there on the chat. What is the cost of this phone? No, sorry. What is the price? If I was to buy this phone, what would I pay? Again, first 5 answers is good enough. Kevin, you can help with any responses that come on the screen, on the chat. And I also see someone who's lifted their hands. You'll help me that.
Peter Musai, 40,000. Claire, 300,000. Jerry Ndungu, 120,000. Njue, 150,000. Guhi Gitau, 250,000 shillings. That is. Wafula Luasi, 130,000 Kenya shillings.
Excellent.
We have Jen Mugure, 1,500 US dollars. That is from Facebook. Yes.
Excellent. I think that's sufficient for me to make the point. Now, let's assume something here. Assuming there's an employee who earns 200,000 shillings, so they pay taxes of 52,000, they take home 147,000. If you do simple math and divide that figure by 30, it means that person is taking home 4,921. Of course, you can put your numbers, multiply, divide by 30, you still get the amount there, but this is the point. I checked out the price of this phone. It's actually 189,000 Kenya shillings. The answers we got were not too far off, but ladies and gentlemen, that is the price. The cost of that phone is that this person will need to work for 38 days to get this phone. That is the cost. There's a difference between price and cost, and that starts to spell our spending habits. If you sit back and think that you need to work 38 days to get a gadget, then you start looking at life differently. You start working on your spending habits. Remember, we said it's not how much you earn. I have no problem you buying the phone for sure. If you can, have no issue, but please check what is it costing you. Of course, there you can use lunch. You can use your rent. You can use the car you drive, the school your children go to. This helps you nail your spending habits. Let's look at this thing called debt. Again, a simple example. If you go to a bank and get 1 million shillings, get 1 million shillings, this is at 18% for 5 years. A couple of things I want to see. You're going to pay 3,000 or 4,000 shillings every year, and that amount remains the same. But there's something that happens with the banks every time you pay this loan. They split it between principal and interest. When you pay 3 or 4, 135 of that, you're repaying the debt that you borrowed. 169 is the interest. This is how much it's costing you. In year number, the last year, you still pay 3,000 or 4,000, but at the last year, 276 goes to paying the loan and 27 goes to pay the interest. This part is what we are all concerned about. Remember, I talked about debt is not bad, but you need to understand it. It is costing you 523,000 shillings to keep this money for 5 years. So if you're going to get this debt, please make sure you are making more than 523,000. Because if you're not, this debt is not helping you as much. That is the first thing about debt. Every time, look at how much it's costing you in terms of interest. It doesn't matter how much it is, but make sure you are making more than it's costing you. Before I leave this slide, let me talk about top-ups. They are good, but look at it. You've paid First year you've paid the debt, second year you've paid, third year, fourth year, when you have 5,000 or 8,000 to go, here comes something called a top up. So you go to the bank and you get an extra 492,000 because for you to get back to the million that you had. But look at what has just happened. Whereas you are going to be paying interest of 73,000, you take yourself back to when the interest was 169. It's important to know when you're doing a top up, you're taking yourself back to when the loan is very expensive for you. What's the takeout here? Understand the cost of the debt. Number two, make sure you make more than the debt is costing you. Number three, understand that when you do a top up, you are digging yourself back into the hole. All right, that's it about managing debt. The last part of my presentation is these other 5 parts. Remember the first 5 parts I've already talked about: living within your means, relationship with money, focusing the future, debt, and savings. Now I want to talk about investments. I want to talk about risk. I want to talk about retirement planning, the impact of environment on your finances, and then how do we put it all together. Then I give it back to Grace and Zula. But talking about investments is the most common question that people ask. And look at what we did when we started the webinar. You put $1 million shillings on the desk, and there are so many ways we can use this money. Or if it's $10,000, for those of us who are not in Kenya or using a different currency, it's the same thing. Then how do we know where to put money? We have given you indicative returns. Where can you put money and what can you get from it? If you take your money and put it in a bank account, the approximate return you're going to get is between 2 to 4%. That is to say, if you take 100 shillings at the beginning of the year, keep it in the bank for a whole year, at the end of the year, you're going to get an extra 2 shillings to 4 shillings. I appreciate there are some banks who are even pushing that to 9%, and that is very good. And that's good. But that's how to read this table I'm talking about here. SACCO dividends, if you put money in a SACCO, they give you dividends. You get between 5 and 10%, depending on the SACCO that you're talking about. If you put your money in real estate, those who want to buy plots and build houses, you get between 7 and 20% return. And why is that? Why it is because, are you doing residential? Are you doing commercial? Are you buying a plot of land and building high block houses? Are you buying a piece of land and subdividing into plots? It's so wide. That's why the spread is also wide. If you put your money in unit trust today, you get between 7 and 9%. Again, this is indicative. If you put your money in treasury bonds, you get between 9 and 12%. Now, again, this is average. As I said, I keep insisting it's average because I know the government the other day gave even at 15%, which is okay, and it's there, but we are saying, what is the average? If you take your money and put it in listed shares, whether Uganda Stock Exchange, Nairobi Stock Exchange is the one I know about a lot, you get between 5 and 15%, depending on the company you've invested in, the profits they make, are they giving dividends or not, and all that. Now we come to what we call Juakali. Startups, micro business, SMEs, you can make a lot, between 30 and 100% every year you can. And the more recent ones, Forex and blockchain will give you in between 50 and 150%. We present this to you, ladies and gentlemen, as indicative returns. There could be pluses or minuses, but this gives you roughly, when you say you have that million that we started with, and you put it wherever you want to put it here, this is what you're going to get. But 2 things, there's a column here called regulated. That means that investment item you're picking is regulated by the government, either through Capital Markets Authority or Retirement Benefit Authority or IRA or CBK. It is regulated. SASRA also for the SACCOs. When it is not regulated, then you need to be careful, because that transaction is a buyer-seller transaction. It has nothing to do with Serikali's idea, or please help me, I'm losing my money here. You are on your own. We're not saying it's not enforceable, but it is not regulated in that sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thought to put up that slide because it's a very, very common question you get. What do I get when I invest? Again, do not make your decisions based on only this, because I want to show you something else called risk, and I'm going to come to that. But while still on investments, there's something called compounding. Again, we can give you very complex math, but I thought to make it a very simple example. So if you inherited a rental property up country, it's getting 20,000 a month. So every month, 20,000. So this weekend, you have a family, your meetings, meeting with your siblings, and you want to educate them on how much this kitty will have after 5 years. We are taking this example to help us simplify what is compounding. This thing we hear, power of compounding, what is it? Now, if you take that 20,000 every month per year, that's if you multiply it by 12, it comes to 240,000. And we said 5 years, so 240,000 times 5 years is 1.2 million. But if you take that money and put it in one of those investments I've talked about, even take treasury bonds, they'll give you that 8%. And don't remove it. So whatever profit you get, let them continue investing there for you. After 5 years, you'll have made an extra 207,000 because of the power of compounding. That means when you go to the bank account, instead of getting 1.2 million, you'll actually get 1.407 million. That's the power of compounding, where when you consistently put money in an interest-bearing account, the money grows. Grace challenged me and said, is it possible for me to sleep and money works for me? This here is your answer. The power of compounding is a big part in letting money work for you, because of course you can go and take on the profits. But that's a starter level. Let's think generationally. Instead of doing that for 5 years, do it for 30 years. Consistently putting aside 20,000 shillings every month. So again, you take your calculator, multiply, it comes to 7.2 million. But look at the power of compounding. You get an extra 19.9 million shillings because money is working for you, because you're consistently putting aside 20,000 shillings. So of course, your bank account will read 27,100,000. Kennon, is this possible? Does it work? Is it a dream? It is not a dream. Power of compounding works as long as you're consistent and as long as you're putting it in an interest-bearing account, and I dare say one that is secure. And that's why I'm directing you towards government bonds. This will work any day. Now, we are aware about inflation, but at least you're beating inflation by doing this. So at least compounding helps you. If not anything, you don't lose value of your money, because if that money was to sit in a mattress somewhere or in a bank account that's giving you 2 to 4%, you start losing out on this. But let's now team up with 9 friends. If you're to team up with 9 friends and do this, when you hear families get generational wealth, or when you hear people are starting out big things, look at what happens here. If you do this as 10 people, again, using math, 20,000 a month for each of you is 2.4 million shillings per year. For 30 years is 72 million. But you get a whopping 199 million shillings of money growing for you. You hear Warren Buffett, you hear so and so. This is one thing they do, consistently putting money aside. I needed to do this and leave you with a very important nugget towards the question that was asked. Can money work for you? Yes, it can work for you because of the power of compounding. I mentioned some returns you're going to get. This is one of the most important slides, because most of clients, most people want to know, how much am I going to get from this investment? They rarely stop to say, what risk am I running? And risk is not necessarily bad news. Risk is anticipating what can go wrong and managing it. Whereas we're saying the blockchain can give you 50 to 150%. The return is very high, we agree, but look at the level of risk. The risk is so high. Just like you can make 150%, you can actually lose 150%. So when you look at this spectrum, there are some investments that are considered high risk, high return. These are low risk, low return, and these are middle return. I don't have enough time probably to explain how each of these investments works, but at least we have a basic idea that the concept of investment, risk, and return is important. As we close out, for you to get a grip of your finances, you need to do 4 things. You need to grow your income. Whatever you do, make sure you don't lose your ability to make money. Whether you're a business person, whether you're an employee, whether you're self-employed, whether you're an investor, whatever you make money, make sure you don't lose that. And then increase it. Second thing, expenditure, reduce your expenditure. That example of the phone, I think, might start giving us an idea about how to reduce expenditure. Just a quick experience here I had. I was in employment, that was about 15 years ago. I was in the hotel industry, and we are all okay. We are looking at our projections. We have 80% occupancy. We expect CG who from the US and UK, and we were doing our math, and everyone was happy. Terrorists struck this nation, and something called travel advisor came in. So everybody started telling their people, Kenya is not safe, please leave. What did that mean for us? Our occupancy levels in the hotels moved from 80, 90% and went to 20%, 10%. Management called a meeting and said, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, half of you have to go home because that's what it is. But they say the other alternative is all of you stay, but all of you take a pay cut of 30%. Went with the second option. That day, I walked home with a pay cut of 30% without notice. That's when I understood this thing of reducing expenditure. Because people ask me, in this current economy, can you really make a saving? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're pushed to a corner, you will make the savings. And for me, I say, we don't have to wait for a pay cut. Go to your own numbers and determine, give yourself a pay cut. Using that money, please start putting that money in investments. That's how you reduce your expenditure out of a mindset. Of course, there's a level it can go lower, but always can you find a place to make a saving of whatever cost? We have tools and resources that help our clients with all these in whatever courses that we do outside of this meeting. Then build assets, not toys. Please build assets. Assets are things that bring money into your pocket. So someone says, I have this kind of a car, it has this kind of horsepower, it peaks like this. That is good, and I've nothing against it. But ask yourself, is it putting money in your pocket, or is it taking money away from your pocket? If it is putting money in your pocket, that's an asset. If it's taking money from your pocket, that is a liability. And lastly, eliminate liabilities. I've already explained the cost of debt and the impact of continuously staying in debt. And even this mobile debt, it's very convenient to go in and get the money and get a debt here and sort yourself out. Even though it's being presented to us is, don't get stuck. Make sure you live the kind of life that you want. All that is good, but who is talking about the cost? What is the cost of that debt? Okay, and is it possible that you'd have done with 3 things instead of 5? Those are the things we talk about. Eliminating debt. I've talked a lot. Let me ask another question. Go to the chat section and tell us, what is the best age to retire? This is my last presentation here. What is the best age to retire? Any 5 answers, I'll be good. I'm also looking at my time to see that I don't overstep. I have a few more minutes to go here, then I'll go through it back for Q&A.
Have Claire
okay,
saying
help me also.
Never.
Yeah. What is the best age to retire?
Peggy, 45 years, Nakaziba, Olivia, 65, Dorcas Njeri, 50, Jacinta, 50, Jacinta, 65, Ali Dokuta, 50, Peter at 50, Titus, 45, Fafula, 85, Zachary, 50, Flavia, 40, and Bahati. With this economy, we might as well work until 70 years.
Yeah.
And then, so
Thank you so much. I think those answers are very good. I appreciate that, Asante Sana. I like what Roy is saying. Roy, I want to build from what you've said, any age when you're stable. I think let me stop at what Roy has said, Roy Asimwe, because that is the point I want to bring. And even Patrick Mutuma is saying when you're financially free, retirement is not a matter of age. Retirement is a state. Let me go to that tool and still show you one more thing. What do I mean by retirement is a state? I'll show you something here that I have here. Investment numbers here. This is me planning my life for retirement. This is how it works. I first of all start by selecting the investment vehicle that I will use when I retire. I will need to be clear, am I going to retire using properties? Am I going to do shares? Am I going to do bonds? All those things we put if we got $1 million or even that table I talked about. Why is that important? Retirement is a process. You don't wake up one day and say, now I've retired. The way it works is, whatever age you are today, start determining what will you retire doing. At least for free, employment is it's not one of them, because employment has a place where officially you have to stop doing it. Yes, you can go back as a consultant, etc., but largely speaking, besides employment, what are you going to be doing? Let's say, for example, for me, I choose commercial properties. If I invested 10 million shillings today in commercial properties, all right, the investment return I'm going to get is I'm going to get 100,000 every month. So when I'm thinking retirement, this is very practical to me. But every investment has a risk. So we are saying, I knock it down from 100,000 and work with 86,000. You might ask, where is that coming from? There's a lot of math and actuarial things that have gone in to bring the figure there. But let's just trust me. Let's work with 86,000. Now, if I'm going to retire, remember when I was putting my inflows, I put my inflows and I was showing you the example. In my example, my annual income is 1.7. For me to retire today, I will need commercial properties worth 14.3 million, because those are the commercial properties that are going to bring me an income of 1.7, going by these numbers I'm showing you here. Now, retirement is a state. That's what I'm meaning. So today, if I was to think about retirement and I want to retire using commercial properties, I need to 14.3. But of course, I already have some assets. I already have 4.8. So actually, what I'm looking for is an extra 8.6. But now, I'm not retiring today. And this system already put my age, I already put the time when I want to retire. So it means I have 12 years to go. Each of us will have their own unique time. But the thing is, this 8.6 million, in 12 years' time, I actually need to be looking for 21 million. Because this 8.6 today, in 12 years' time, it will be 21. It is that 21 million that's going to give me my annual income of 1.7. Now, this is what retirement is. When you're able to scientifically compute based on your income, based on your habits, based on your age, based on your plans, you can nail the exact number that you need to actually retire. And down here, there's a plan. For me to retire in 12 years, I need to start earning over and above what I'm earning. I need to earn an extra 36,000 a month. If I want to look at it per week, 8,000 per day, 1,100, and yearly 437. Why this design is important is we don't tell you what, we show you how. These are my numbers, of course, because these are the figures are here. Everybody is able to put up these numbers here for us to redefine retirement. So if I'm able to do that when I'm 16 or 26 or 36, now the years stop to matter as long as I'm able to find a figure or that I'm working towards. Ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. To engage with us, there are 3 ways to do that. There's something called the treasure chest. What the tool I've been using is called the treasure chest. If you go to programs.mwalimubiashara.com, that's our own program. You will find it there and you can purchase it for yourself. When you get there and you choose to purchase, we have a partnership with Atara Solutions where there's a coupon. Please put Atara Solutions and you will get yourself a discount. The second way you can engage with us is we actually do personal financial management classes. All that I've been telling you and showing you here, we have those in classes that run once a week over 10 weeks. You can engage with us. And lastly, we do what I've done today to employees and groups. We come to your organizations and help employees deal with their matters, financial management, or groups, whether it's churches or chamas or whatever, families, whatever kind of organizations. Those are the 3 ways that you can engage with us. And ladies and gentlemen, we are just done our company, Mwalimu Biashara. We do a lot. Check our website, mwalimubiashara.com. But today we are focused on personal financial coaching. This is our contact. You can always reach us out for further engagements. Asanteni sana, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'll take it back to Atara team. Take any questions or comments that are following up on this presentation. Thank you very much. Back to you, Grace.
Yani, Kennon, every time I listen to you, I just remind myself that it was a blessing meeting you. Like if I don't become rich, Herbert, if I don't become a wealthy human being, you have to hold me accountable. And I have no idea why I'm committing to that, but yeah. But now, Kennon, thank you very much for the compliments on the chat. But Kennon, let me ask you, there's the whole thing. Okay, by the way, first of all, our audience, Kennon has an app that can help you plan your money. There's a phone app, there's a site that you can register on, the www.mwalimubiashara.com. And of course, when you use Atara Solutions, you get a discount. So you don't have to wonder how you can get this. And yes, he used 20,000 as a saving, but if you earn like 30,000, you can walk the journey and he can help you determine how much you really need to save per month. So yes, Grace, it's actually as easy as he makes it. We are so used to getting some people who really complicate our lives with money, but it is as easy as it has been laid out. Now, Kennon, there's something that I have experienced. People know they need to save, right? People know that for them to live better in the future, for them to have a comfortable life, for them to even afford school, for them to do, there's so many things that are pegged on saving, so many things that are pegged on having some money in their account. But how do we make sure that they are actually doing it?
Okay.
Like, how do we change the mindset?
So thank you, Grace, for that. For that. Let me probably take it in very short time. There is a principle we call spend it all in 2 days. When you get your money, spend it all in 2 days. Now, how do you do that? Again, I'll say what I know. You see that treasure chest I showed you? As long as you know where this money should go, don't hesitate. Where we get it wrong is, pesa ikika kwa mfuko, it becomes warm, It finds ways to go. So for us, the basic thing is just a discipline and almost a ruthlessness. Because money, you need to tell money where to go. If you don't tell money where to go, it will find its way. So my basic answer to that is understand your current financial position first. But if it's about rent, please don't hesitate, pay that rent. If it's in fact, automate, you can, if you're employed, make it a payroll deduction. If you're not employed in business, make it a standing order, go to the bank and put instructions. This should go without me getting involved. Grace, I'll also say human beings are human beings. There's a part I mentioned in my presentation called personal allowance. You know, the beauty about a personal allowance is you take it and you use it. Inaitwa raha zako. What makes you happy? We are not here to make it so tight, and savings is not a fight. Savings is a plan. So Grace, the other thing is take yourself a personal allowance and please enjoy your cup of coffee. Enjoy your beer. Enjoy your hair. Whatever you do, please enjoy it. But the fact that it is budgeted, then be very, very ruthless with it. The third thing maybe I'll mention is giving. How is it that I'm saying the more you give, the better you become? By the way, money has a way of gripping everyone. But if you learn to give, you start losing that unhealthy grip of money. But then also limit it. Go to your parents, tell them, Mom, Dad, or sister, brother, I know I'm the firstborn in this family, but you know I can't solve all these problems. I can only afford 4,000 shillings every month because I'm also running this and this kind of project. So live within your means, Grace. Understand that you're not spending more than you have. Number two, spend it all in 2 days ruthlessly. Get yourself a personal allowance. Be bold to speak about it. Your circumstances, if it's some chango happening and it's listed there, everybody's giving 10,000, 8,000, 5,000. Me, I give 500 and I feel nothing because that's what I can afford. Now, if you, again, social pressure, please run your life. Grace, I don't know if that starts to answer the question that you asked there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you're laying it to us straight. You're shooting straight. And you're dropping some tweets, eh? Hey, you should see my status as you speak. And I am seeing Pat is also following through. If you don't tell money where to go, it will find its way where it is not needed. And then there was another one that you dropped earlier on. Where is that tweet again? It doesn't matter what you get. What matters is what you keep. Where? Hey, today. So Liz is asking, where do I get the app?
So I'll put it in the chat. I think I'll type something on the chat here. It's programs.mwalimubiashara.com. I'll type it on the chat there. Then Liz, once you get there, it's very self-explanatory. But should you need any assistance, I should be able to help you with that, Liz. The purchase process is automated. Usually it goes for 2,500 once and you keep it for the rest of your life. But if you put that coupon Atara Solutions, you'll get it for $19.99. Let me see, I have put that on the chat. Anybody who gets their programs.mwalimubiashara.com, you're good. Right, I think that's the question that I got.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes,
that
some
is the question.
Okay, on Play Store, download something called Treasure Chest. But I think I'd suggest that you use the portal first. Once you're happy with the portal, then you can go to the app, but either is okay.
All right. So programs.mwalimubiashara.com is where you can get the
that's where
the treasure chest.
What I just showed you.
Yes. And then, hi Kennon, what's your take on tithing? The 10% when your payslip is on loan and other responsibilities.
Okay. So a quick one. This is a matter of faith. First of all, Liz, I respect your faith. So if first of all is to tithe, that's okay. Another question is, do you tithe gross or do you tithe net? Again, that's a huge discussion. Everybody has their own way of looking at it. But I'll say, if you have already made a mistake whereby right now you're already living way above your means, I am not here to give an opinion about faith matters, but in terms of money matters, there are some things that you can't do. So if you're not able to do it because of the circumstances you find yourself, so just like any other expense, then you have to control it. But let me give my own view of faith and tithe. I think it needs to be done. It's just that the habit needs to be developed. Do you remember when you're earning half of what you're earning today? You used to survive. How? There's a way you used to survive. There's something called lifestyle inflation. The more we get money, the bigger we become. So if you have inbuilt the tithing early enough, then that discipline is already there. And you can't find yourself in an upset situation. But again, that's a very dicey issue. I will look at that as an expense like any other that needs to be managed in the same way.
Okay. Daniel Kithenji, I've put the link again. There was somebody who was saying that they are 22. And I think you have come to this webinar at the right time. They say, Daniel Otoma, he says he's 22 and he's just started working. This is the best time, like to start. Yani, you have no idea how lucky you are. Like, this is perfect for you. And somebody else is saying, my son who is 7 has been saving, and maybe they need to start about the son investing in money market or in the treasury bonds. And I think it's a good idea. I think I also need to start doing that with my own children, because they have savings that they're waiting to spend in December. Maybe we need to reduce on that expenditure for December. Right. Yes, Kennon. Kevin, you can check what's going on Facebook. But yes, Kennon.
Let me make a comment on the two people, the 7-year-old person and the 23-year-old person. Let me start with the 7-year-old person. Financial knowledge is not about how much. Please go to your 7-year-old, give them a small allowance, even if it's 200 every week. You're teaching them the concept of a salary, but then tell them, how can you use these 200 shillings? 20 shillings tunapelekanga kwa kanisa. Why should we 10 shillings do this? I did that practically with my daughter who's 16 today. I ran 3 whole years of giving her 500 shillings every month and opening a small, we had those Jumbo Junior account, and they'll tell them, anything you put here is for what you want to use for Christmas. That's the concept of short term. Then we have those housing finance to houses. Anything you put here is when you're going to use when you're 18, because I'm introducing the concept of long term. And I'll tell them, whatever you put here, when you get 18, I will give you double. I'm introducing the concept of compounding. So at 7, and we do this even for our clients, we teach children as young as 7 financial management in a way that they understand. So it is never too early, and don't take it lightly. Let them do their own treasure chest to the cent. Back we used to tell them, how much do you want to give to people? And you could see them buying a loaf of bread and waiting to give a beggar. There is a lot of value you're adding in that. So it's never too early to start that. To the 23-year-old person, I agree with Grace. You are at the right place at the right time. It doesn't matter that maybe you're earning, or even an infant today. When we meet young adults like you, we help you create a system that would work for you over time. So that when the hundreds of thousands come up to you, you know where they're going to go, and it's not a surprise to you. I just wanted to add that, Grace.
All right. Thank you very much, Kennon. Yes, Kevin.
Okay, I just saw a question somewhere here. There's just before the question, there's somewhere I read, having money in your bank account can also increase your immune system, or rather can boost your immune system. So when can you say that you're stable enough? That is a question by Bahati. When we are talking about retirement, you are asking, when should we retire? Someone asked, okay, when can you say you are stable enough?
Okay, so the example that I shared with you at the final analysis is when those assets that you have, because remember, we said invest in assets, not toys. That one is closed. assuming you're investing in assets, they are bringing you a return. And the more you keep adding those assets, the more the return increases. The basic cycle is all of us, whether employment, business, we are very strong. And then after some time, we get to a certain age and our weaknesses come. We are human. By the time that cycle starts to turn down, you have built enough assets to give you income to support your desired lifestyle. When you get there, Kevin, then you've gotten where we are all going. It might take you 2 years, 12 years, 20 years, based on very many things. And also it could be an aspect where you actually reduce your desired lifestyle. Desired lifestyle does not mean you spend. You can actually decide to say, okay, fine, that was not possible, I give up on it. But I'm careful not to sound like I'm telling people not to work hard. That ambition needs to be there, but also it needs to be tempered with being realistic.
Grace, you're mute, sorry.
Okay, no, I am loving this conversation, but Kevin, you know, we have to do frank justice. So you can share the offers for today.
As always, we have offers from Pathway Solutions. Just a minute, Grace, you can continue as I'm trying to share my screen.
All right, so as Kevin is doing that, there's a question by Flavio. And then there's also the same question from Maggie on savings and getting taxed again. What is your take on that, Kennon?
Okay, so I say there are two elements to taxes: politics and finance. Now, we don't teach politics. That is too complicated. We all know where this country is at. And politics here means how that money leaves the public coffers. That is politics. Finance is how that money comes in. That one we teach. So the thing is, there are ways to save and those items are not taxed, or even ways to invest. So the thing is to find out, say for example, let me take pension. Pension is a saving for old age. And the law is very clear. If you retire and you don't take that pension until you're 65, if you take it after 65, it will not be taxed. That is the government encouraging you to keep it longer. That's just an example. Let's come to investments. If you invest in an infrastructure bond, there are many kinds of bonds, fixed income bond, but infrastructure bond in particular, especially the ones that were given by the government, were actually infrastructure bonds. The interest income you get is not taxed. So to the question around taxes is a matter of politics. We don't give up, but we say that's not finance, that's politics. But it's a matter of you identifying like those two examples or those two ways I've talked about saving your taxes. If you're a business partner, it's very helpful, and you're buying a vehicle, don't put that vehicle in your name. Put that vehicle in the name of the company. What that means, it is a company property that the company is yours, but the company fuels that car, repairs it, pays insurances, and you're allowed to do what you call tax deduction on it. That's a lesson for another day, but it's a matter of identifying the opportunities that are there for you to save on taxes. But taxes as they were, there's an element of it that is politics, which we leave it to the politicians. And anybody by way of influence in this call, if you're at a place of influence, please go ahead and influence the taxes of this country. And of course, even our neighboring countries as well. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, take it away.
Thank you so much, Mwalimu. As Grace had mentioned, we have offers from Pathway Solution Services. Just to add on today's topic and what we have learned on issues to do with finances. We have 4 trainings, and 3 individuals are going to have a free sponsorship. That is 1 training from these choices that I'm going to read through. That is number 1, overcoming sales objections, managing finances, emotional intelligence, and personal productivity. The winners of the free sponsorship will have to complete the training via LMS, that is Learning Management System, e-learning system. And before then, you'll have to justify why you should be given such a sponsorship by writing to frank@pathwaysolutionservices.co.uk, and you copy grace@atarasolutions.co.ke. Companies, 5 companies will also get each 1 training delivered via Zoom meeting or Google meeting. Time and day will be agreed upon virtually. So if you want your company also to be trained on the above, kindly reach out and to Grace and copy Frank. Promotion on our viewers is Pathway Solution Services is offering 20% discount on, they have more than 130 LMS e-learning corporate training courses. So if you wish, kindly go through their website that is updated so that you can go through the e-learning training courses that they have.
You muted yourself, Kevin, before you finished talking. Okay. So, but
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Please take advantage. You can type the email addresses on the chat. Kennon, before you leave, there are 2 things that we need to answer. There are 2 questions on SACCO. Is it safe to invest in SACCOs? And can one invest in more than 1 SACCO? And the other question was between personal pension and property. Which one would you advise?
Okay. Let's look at the SACCOs first. Are you able to invest in more than 1 SACCO? The answer is yes. There is no law that stops you from putting your money in 1 SACCO to another. The key thing is to understand SACCOs operate on something called a common bond. Okay, you need to be eligible to participate in that SACCO. If it's an employer-run SACCO, they need to be an employee of that organization that's running that organization. There are some that are not employer-driven. There are some that are career-driven. Afya SACCO, Mwasibu SACCO, again, there we go. But common bond is important, but there is nothing stopping you from investing in more than 1 SACCO. The same question that came on the SACCO. Let me see what the other question is. Sorry, Grace, I think I missed there's something else about the SACCO. They said, can you invest in more than 1 SACCO? And did you say if a SACCO is safe? I think they said if a SACCO is safe, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So SACCOs are regulated by a body called SASRA. So the key thing is to ensure that you can even ask, you can challenge the officials to show you a report from SASRA. Why you want that regulated is you want everybody to be able to follow the rules. So it's in your best interest to actually ask, but the expectation is that every SACCO running is regulated by SASRA. That's one thing. SACCOs over time, the history of SACCOs is unfortunately the management has not been done very well, and that's common knowledge. Most people feel that. So what that means is the SACCO officials can mismanage funds, and if that happens, then of course you run a risk of losing your money where that is concerned. So it's important to see that the management, when you go for those AGMs and look at the audited accounts, you need to see that that SACCO is healthy, that you're putting your money in. There's a question around personal pension versus, remind me, Grace, what was the other thing?
Land, property.
Okay, so if I go to, okay, there's a slide I showed you. First, those 2 investment options, one is regulated, one is not. Anytime you do a personal pension and you put that money in a pension fund, it is regulated by Retirement Benefits Authority, RBA. that gives you first an advantage, because what is pension really is we all give our money to a fund manager. That fund manager, who's supposed to be very well educated about money, puts all that money, might even put in the same property or put in bonds or put in cash. They even have regulations. There are regulations on how they need to do that. The returns they get from that, they used to pay you in the your pension when you're old. That's the whole idea about a pension, personal pension. Of course, properties is, you can do land banking where you buy land when the prices are low, send when it's high, or you can get into an actual property. So you buy a residential house, so you stop paying rent, or it could be a commercial property. I just want to lay a breakdown to show you, once you've understood how each of these properties work, or how each of these investment options work, it boils down to money. What return are you getting? And that can actually be computed. There's a way to compute. Remember when I was showing you about when you put 100 shillings in a bank, you get this at the end of the year. It now comes to returns. But it also depends on the objectives of you as an investor. We are careful not to give blanket advice around investment without understanding your circumstances, because it's important for you to know, what are you looking for? Maybe depending on what you're looking for, property is a place to go, or it could be a personal pension. So it largely depends on what is your investment objective, what is the investment horizon. If you think about those two options, the pension one might have a longer term horizon. Maybe, I don't know what your age is today, but assuming you're 40, then it means that you're talking about accessing that money when you're 65. Yet a property, you could access it could be looking for a house to move in the next 5 years. So it's a very wide question, but it will depend on the investment objectives and the return you're going to get from this.
All right. Excellent, excellent. And now I am tempted to say, what was I tempted to say? Yes, karibuni sana Sagana, my people. I know we are at 9:30, top on the hour. We are about to ask Mwalimu to give us his parting shot, but I want to take this opportunity to welcome you guys to Sagana. Make sure that you register, and we see you in Sagana next week on Saturday, where we are going to have a very, very awesome conversation. We have a conversation around risk-taking. We have a conversation around the gender factor. And then our main theme is actually on collaboration. How can we work together for the growth of our careers and our businesses? Now, Kennon, your parting shots.
So Grace and team, first, thanks a lot for this opportunity to talk about personal finance. I'll just summarize and say it's 20% knowledge, 80% behavior. We need to understand money behaviors. We need to understand why we do the things the way we do them. Of course, I'm not saying education and knowledge is not important, but it is supplemented a lot by what you do after that. And also to say that these are heartbeats. Obviously, I will welcome anybody who wants to work with us. We are happy to help you at very many levels, because a conversation like this cannot be concluded in a meeting like this, Grace. And thank you so much for Tara Solutions for giving us the opportunity to put this across. This is our bread and butter. We wake up every day talking about money working for you. How do you make money? How do you grow money? How do you protect your money? Asante sana, Grace.
Excellent, 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 excellent. I really, really have enjoyed that one. 80% is behavior, 20% is learning. That is, of course, our take home. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. We have learned, and if you're in any of the WhatsApp groups, I'll share the link. We'll share the recording towards the end of the week, hopefully sooner than we usually do. But at this point in time, allow me to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. Please follow us on Instagram at Tara Solutions, like our Facebook page at Tara Solutions, join our WhatsApp group, Get It Right to the Tara Solutions. I think the link will be shared on the chat. And of course, make sure that you're making better money decisions for yourself. For those of you in Kampala, I will share the details with Herbert, and he can probably share as he shares the link. You can find Kennon's contact details on the chat. And also, in case of anything, please get in touch with me and I'll be able to link you up to Kennon. So thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate you. I hope you are getting your jeans on and your boots, because next week on Saturday, we will be having fun at Sagana. We are learning, we are eating, we are enjoying life. And Kennon has said that we deserve some money for ourselves. So your personal allowance this year is taking you to Sagana. This month takes you to Sagana, where we have an event on Saturday from 2:30 p.m. It includes dinner. It's 4,000 shillings. If you want to self-drive yourself, that's fine. If you also want to jump onto on transport, we're organizing a bus that will leave Nairobi. If you're not from Nairobi, then you guys can carpool from wherever it is you're coming from. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to wish you a lovely, lovely evening and happy holiday tomorrow. It's a holiday everywhere. So enjoy your holiday tomorrow and see you next Tuesday. It's the start of July. It's also HR month. So towards I think we'll dedicate about 2 or 3 sessions on HR related topics. And then from there, we can get back to the other session. So thank you very much for joining us. And we trust that you have enjoyed this session and that we shall see you. My name is Grace Nzula with my co-host,
Kevin Adipo.
And we appreciate you. And thank you so much. Catherine Sidandi, thank you for making us inclusive. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place, as we tackle another different topic. Go ye and save up. Go ye and make wealth. Go ye and let the money work for you. Have a lovely, lovely night.